What up, YouTube? It's your boy Banks. And we back in the building, you feel me? It's True Talks. Cause True Talks. Alright, let's get straight right into it. So you already know free agency started Friday at 6 p.m. I dropped a video yesterday basically about the Chris Paul trade. You know what I mean? And I was gonna drop more videos, but free agency started and things would have been outdated because there's been new moves, new things happening. So I'm going to try and be up to date as possible. But you already know in terms of this video, one night was enough to basically see that the Raptors aren't doing what elite looks like in terms of my eyes. I'm going to break down my IQ because that's what I do. You get what I'm saying? Because you already know, as it just was broken news that Fred VanVleet has signed a 4-year, $85 million deal, which is basically what, like 21 around there mil a year, which definitely, you know, Fred VanVleet earned. But we're going to go into the Raptors as a whole during this free agency period in, you know, comparison to other teams and other moves that's being made. And in terms of obviously VanVleet and Ibaka, their main two, you know, free agents that they have off their roster. So let's go straight right into it. Let's go into that context, because I give it that context. All right, let's go straight right into it. So basically, like I said, Fred VanVleet signed the bag, $85 million for 4 years. You know, obviously in terms of VanVleet individually, it is definitely something that he earned. He betted on himself. He proved himself. Like I said before, Fred VanVleet is someone who is looking for the bag, whether it's with the Raptors or whether he part ways. You know what I'm saying? He's looking for the bag. Now, whether it's with the Raptors, I'll discuss later, but VanVleet individually, he earned it. You know what I'm saying? He's a champion. He is so much of a factor in terms of winning that ring, even in the final series, that he actually got an finals MVP vote. Kawhi got all 6 or got 6 out of the 7. And VanVleet got 1 because VanVleet was closing. VanVleet was putting in work. When you have another superstar there, he's a guy who is an all-star caliber type of player. People are like, oh my God, VanVleet. Obviously, they don't mention him a lot, but this man with shared duties, with usage rate shared, which means he's ball handling at times, Lowry's ball handling at times. They literally a pinch starting backcourt. It's like a Chris Paul Shea, Chris Paul Schroeder. They're not ball handling a lot, and yet in a lower usage rate. In a lower usage rate type of a role where normally if you don't have him and Lowry, and let's say it's a backup point guard, he would be having way more usage rate because when he's on the floor, he's actually the ball handler at all times, 90% of the time. He hasn't been that. And yet he still averaged 19, you know what I'm saying? 18, 19 or whatever he averaged, you know what I'm saying? And yet he was still, you know, in the discussions for like, you know, most, like he was in MVP discussions earlier, obviously not later down the line, but he's someone who was producing at a high level, doing Chris Paul type of stats. You know what I'm saying? Obviously his shooter percentage wasn't the greatest in terms of, you know, just field goal percentage. It started, digressing because obviously Pascal's palm started to get sweaty. So now he has to chuck more, him and Lowry. And that's why their percentages dropped. But when they started off the year, they were shooting good percentages. You know what I'm saying? So people are looking at it for the production he gave in his role, saying, is that worth the bag? No, he's getting paid to be the future point guard, meaning Lowry's a free agent next year. Most likely he leaves, or if he does stay, he might even come off the bench now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be a different situation. Like, VanVleet is not going to be in the same role you've seen. And this is the problem that fans kind of get stuck in. They get stuck in what they see, and they can't comprehend different contexts, even if it hasn't transpired yet, or if they haven't seen it with their own eyes. They can only comprehend what they've seen with their own eyes. They can't comprehend other things, other factors. You know what I'm saying? And that's where, you know, I have that IQ. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? And VanVleet is, and like I said, is in a usage rate role where he's sharing duties. Chris Paul with James Harden. Chris Paul with Shea and them. You know what I'm saying? Russell Westbrook with Harden. You know, VanVleet with Lowry. They're sharing duties. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like a Dame CJ type of situation where CJ is actually a shooting guard. So now when Dame goes to the bench, I run the ball handle. No, VanVleet is actually a point guard. The guys I'm mentioning are actually point guards. So they affect each other in terms of usage rate, right? So now if you were to remove one and that guy's now the starting point guard and he's just picking and rolling, he's having more usage, his production is going to go up automatically. So the fact that they did that well with a shared duty is a plus. You know, the output is gonna go higher when you give him more duties. That's exactly that kind of trajectory that Pascal was in. As a second guy, he's doing this. Oh my God, if you give him more duties, it's gonna go up. Yes, it went up, but Pascal's a different situation because in terms of winning, but his production still individually went up. More output, more production. That's how the game goes. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at it from that perspective, obviously in this free agency time, the Raptors were so locked in on signing Ibaka and Vanvleet, and that's going to come back to bite them. I'll discuss that later. But Vanvleet is someone who, remember, he bet on himself, he earned it and all that type of stuff. Nothing wrong with Vanvleet. Even taking your time, nothing wrong with that. You earned that shit. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of the Raptors, before the Vanvleet actually signed, my smart moves and the breakdown of how they should move is that the Raptors, literally, it depends on how these two guys move, but it also depends on the rest of the field. Vanvleet is in a situation where he could hold out. Vanvleet's in a situation where he's a top 5, top 2, top 3 free agent. Obviously before Hayward opted out, but he was a top 5, top 3, top 4, however you want to call it, free agent for this year. That's not something that will be recreated in any other free agency year. That's why he's capitalizing on it and he's moving like he's a superstar in this free agency. People are isolating, oh my God, Vanvleet is not, superstar, whatever. In this free agency, he basically is. You got to take the context and the year by year and the situation at hand. Right now in this free agency, he's a top 5 guy. Anthony Davis is off the board. Ingram is off the board. Ingram's restricted. He's staying. You know what I'm saying? And Anthony Davis won a ring. He's staying. We already know. So if you remove those two, Vanvleet is top 3 free agent. That's how not star-studded this free agent class is. They're solid free agents, yes, but star-studded, no. So guys who are, all-star caliber or guys who are lower tier in terms of superstar, now they're going to be looked at as a superstar in this individual year. That's the context. So now when you look at it from that perspective, Vanvleet is not really replaceable in terms of the rest of the field. There's not too many point guards that can give you 19 in a shared duty or individual duty. That can give you 19 close to 20. With defense, with poise, with assists. There's not too many points. If you look at the rest of the, there's DJ Augustine, there's Trey Burke, there's a lot of those guys, but are they going to be replaceable of Vanvleet as a starting point guard or shooting guard, or maybe starting point guard for the future? This is why the Raptors went the route of drafting Malachi, you know what I'm saying? Malachi Flynn, they drafted him because they're looking at it as, okay, in case Vanvleet leaves, he's our backup point guard right now. And in case Lowry leaves next year, he's going to be the Vanvleet of the point guard, who started. Right? Or backup, whatever the case is. That's the trajectory that they're kind of looking at. That's the foresight. That's why I'm looking at it as once they drafted him, which they should have drafted Miles Powell, have a score regardless, But anyways, they go with him. That's okay. But that just told me how the Raptors are viewing things. They're viewing things like, our priority is Vanvleet and he's just an insurance policy. Regardless, the reason why Vanvleet's such a priority is because next year, we're probably not going to maybe bring back Lowry. And especially in that type of role, that type of contract, etc. That's what to me it looks like, because that's why they're spending so much time trying to sign Vanvleet, because it's not just a 1-year thing for Vanvleet. It's like our point guard of the future. You're young, your trajectory matches Pascal, our young core, Pascal Vanvleet. Like, this is our point guard of the future. We are not looking for point guards. If anything, in next year's free agency, we're looking for a small forward, a scorer, star-studded guy, a Kawhi type of guy. That's what we're looking for. Giannis, Kawhi, Paul George, whoever. Like, that's what they're looking for. So point guard is not really something they want to address in the future. They want to look at Vanvleet as like he was such a priority in terms of that. And that's where I'm like, okay, I get it. You giving him the bag does not affect the Raptors moving forward, especially for next year's free agency. He's getting 85 mil. You divide it for 4 years or whatever. That's what, 21 mil a year. Remember, Lowry's 30 mils coming off the books next year. If they don't resign him or they resign him to a lower bag, it's still 30 mil coming off the books. The issue for me with the Raptors is that, remember I said, if you sign Fred VanVleet, you most likely aren't going to sign Ibaka, and you're going to have to go find a replacement big. Boucher gets elevated, or you find two bigs, or you find one crucial big, and then Boucher gets elevated to the Ibaka role. And you can keep VanVleet because now the money's being redistributed. It's not like you're signing Ibaka heavy, you're signing VanVleet heavy, and then, you might have to sign the next guy heavy. Like you're redistributing the Ibaka money. Some of it is going to the VanVleet, so you can't keep Ibaka. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the Raptors now are on the verge of most likely for this year individually going to be getting the short end of the stick like the Lakers did when they were waiting for Kawhi. They're waiting for Kawhi. He didn't come. Put parts together, but they still had LeBron and AD. The Raptors don't have that. They have Pascal, Lowry, Powell, OG. So you now spending that much time on VanVleet, that's okay. But the only reason why it gets kind of like, is because you spending time on VanVleet affects you spending time on Ibaka. You spending time on Ibaka affects you spending time on VanVleet. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the Raptors are caught in between this game, that now guys like Christian Wood, who are cheaper than Ibaka, more athletic, younger, a better version of Ibaka at this point in his career, can replace what Ibaka's doing. He only signed $41 million with the Rockets, 3 years. That's $13 million a year. Come on now. Way cheaper. Because if Ibaka's staying, you have to give him like a 1 year 20, 1 year 15. And then after that, you're in the same position next year where you have to go find a big. Where you could actually get a steal. You're getting a guy who was averaging 22, 8, and whatever, 50-something% from the field, 39 from 3-point when Andre Drummond was gone, was traded. Like, this is a guy who's like, it's a steal 3 years, $41 million. Especially at his age and at, you know what I mean? Like, that's a steal. In this marketplace where you have guys getting bags all over the place, that's a steal. You have Jeremy Grant getting 3 years, $60 million, $20 million a year. And I promise you, Christian Wood in his role will be better than Jeremy Grant. Doesn't mean Jeremy Grant's a scrub, no. But the role that Christian Wood will be unleashed. He can actually be an all-star. Like, that's the type of solid player he is. And he just hasn't got the chance yet. He's always been hindered by this. He got unleashed, and look what he did. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's such a big mistake. Trying to focus on Ibaka, VanVleet and lose on a guy like Christian Wood. Focusing on VanVleet individually, I understand. But you focusing on VanVleet from the Raptors' perspective, now it's going to affect Ibaka because Ibaka's like, you gotta understand from this perspective. You focus on, they're basically only looking to get other people based on if these two guys stay or they don't stay. If these two guys stay, we don't need anybody else. That's their mindset, obviously. So you trying to focus on them. Those other guys off the board. Mo Harkless off the board. All these guys off the board. Rodney Hood off the board. Like, bare guys off the board because they're already comfortable in their situation. Like, in terms of like Jordan Clarkson and these guys. They played well in their situation. Now these guys are now offering them even a bag. I'm not leaving. Rodney Hood didn't even take a big hella bag. But y'all didn't even approach him. So he's like, okay, Portland's the one giving me the most money. You know, obviously off the Achilles tear, but it's still the non-dominant leg. So he still will be good. Bag. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, not bag. What, 21 mil, 2 years. And even the second option is, you know, is I think club option or whatever it is. Not guaranteed the next year. So you look at it from that perspective. It's like, there's guys just coming off the board because you're focusing on VanVleet and Ibaka. And focusing on VanVleet is not the issue. It's only an issue because it's relative and it correlates with Ibaka. If you just say, you know what, we're focusing on VanVleet, Ibaka knows you can't pay me OD and pay VanVleet OD. So I'm out. And that's probably what it started near the end, started looking like for Ibaka, which is why he goes on the plane and he's going out to see deals all over the place. Because they literally, like, you gotta understand, if they give Ibaka a hefty bag, especially, just remember the context is they can pay both of them. But the context is being available for next year's free agency class. You have Giannis. You don't know what he's going to do. I think he's going to stay, but you have Giannis. Then you still have Kawhi. You have Paul George. You have X, Y, and Z. You have bare mans. So being available is what they wanted. That's the whole point, is being available for next year's big time free agency class. So if you were to give both of them the heavy bag, that's no IQ. So they both know one of them has to get the bag. They all know that. And Ibaka's in a situation where he knows this is a crucial time for him pay-wise. Vanvleet, this is a crucial time for him pay-wise because Ibaka's getting older. Vanvleet is the perfect time for him to be the focal point in a free agency. That will never happen again. So you look at it from that perspective, both are in the same boat where I want bag, I want bag, I want bag. I want a ring. I don't need to be here fully. It's just about the bag first in a good situation and a bigger role, mainly. So now if you focus on Ibaka, you know what I'm saying? It automatically susses you focusing on Vanvleet. You focus on Vanvleet, it automatically susses you focusing on Ibaka. So they're trying to play this game with both of those guys. Oh, Vanvleet, what are you looking to do? Vanvleet's like, yo, no, I want this mount. 80 mils are good. No, I want more. 85. I have an offer over there that's saying 85. The Knicks is saying 85. Are you about doing it? Like, that's the game they're playing. Ibaka's doing the same thing. Now you're just focusing on both of them when you know you can only keep one, but the only reason you're focused on both of them is because you don't want to cut your ties already. What if Ibaka says, I want to sign? Or says, I want to sign somewhere else. Then it's okay, Vanvleet. What if Vanvleet says, you know what? You're not matching me. I'm going over here. Okay, Ibaka. So you don't want to just go, I'm going only Vanvleet, and then he still leaves and Ibaka's already gone. You lose both. So they're stuck in this game, rightfully so, where they have to hear both out. They have to, give whatever each one is wanting. Sell them on it because they don't know what they're going to do. Those guys have the leverage. The Raptors aren't in a position where we have leverage. Those guys have leverage. The longer they wait, they have more leverage, which is why I said the Raptors was making a mistake because especially on Ibaka, in terms of Vanvleet, him waiting, I get. The Raptors should have just focused on Vanvleet anyways. You know that you can't really replace Vanvleet in terms of what the rest of the field is. Only way you can replace him is through your draft guy in Malachi. But other than that, like free agency wise, there's not too many point guards that are just free agents. You would have to trade for them. I'm talking about of an all-star caliber or a Vanvleet caliber or better. There's not too many of them. There's guys who, you could gamble on and maybe they might be like a Trey Burke or whatever the case is, but it's not something smart. You're not going to lose Vanvleet for a Trey Burke at this point in time. You know what I'm saying? So it's not something they know that, like, look at the point guards that are getting signed. Like, there's not too many. And if they are, they're getting signed for pinch money. So Vanvleet already has the most leverage. Ibaka, there's guys, like I said, guys like Christian Wood. There's so many guys out there that could do what Ibaka does. Not so many, but there is replacements. So you already from time should have said, based off the market, based off the field, the rest of the field and what's going on, I'm going to focus on Vanvleet because he's less replaceable in this time. Ibaka's replaceable. So I'd rather focus on a guy that's not replaceable, give him the bag. And while I'm able to give him the bag or find a deal with him, I know that that's the bag I'm going for. Let me give these guys deals as well. Or at least approach them so they maybe think twice. They don't just make a deal to Houston. And Christian Wood. Like that one, that hurt me, man. Christian Wood, that was the perfect guy. The perfect guy for the Raptors. Length, athleticism, shooting, young, at the 4 and the 5 and Pascal and Wood. That's a match made in heaven. A match made in heaven. And you'll be able to be back in the same spot where now next year, guys know, Raptors are just missing a scorer like that. And you can at least have them. Now you might, if you don't get Ibaka, and let's say you get a weaker guy, you might drop off. Especially with the East getting better. Hornets they get Gordon. Obviously, we don't know how blessed they're going to be, but you have LaMelo, you have Gordon, they're box office. They might make the playoffs. That's a 1-2 games you might lose. You never know. You know what I'm saying? You never know. All these other teams, the Hawks, all these other teams are getting better. Heat, getting better. Getting Avery Bradley, getting Mo Harkless. Come on now. The Nets, you already know they coming back. You already know the Celtics are still there. Philly getting better. And Milwaukee, trade for Drew Holiday, like they're already still there. Where's the Raptors going? Just empty. So that's where, from the Raptors standpoint, they're in a threat. Really, they're in a real threat of becoming basically the Lakers without being the Lakers from last year. Because the Lakers still had LeBron and AD. So them getting, just throwing parts together, Danny Green, okay, this person, okay, this person, okay, this Quinn Cook, okay, this person, Jared Dudley. You know what I'm saying? from now, that's not what they wanted. But at the end of the day, they still have 2 superstars. Not stars, superstars. Raptors don't have no superstars. You rely on solid role-playing play. You rely on that. Everyone at their position has to be crucial. It's not a star-studded 2-mans and then everybody else just be decent. It's not one of those. Because especially when we see what Pascal done. Y'all want to be able to be in the same... if the Raptors are exited before the second round and they're just a first round exit, or they're a bottom tier of the playoffs, that's not gonna be a positive sign to sign someone like Giannis or sign somebody. You have to be in a position where you're always a threat. You're just missing the piece. You won a ring before. All of that's supposed to be your aura. That's supposed to be what you're trying to sell. Now you focusing on these 2 guys while the whole rest of the field, and it's not these 2, it's mainly Ibaka. Focusing on Vanvleet, I have no issue with that. Paying him that money, I have no issue with that because I already know what it means for future. Having a solid point guard, reliable point guard like that, let's say you were to get Kawhi back. You know what I mean? And let's say you're or something like that. You're supposed to get a score. Then you have Pascal's you still have a solid point guard that's guaranteed 15 to 20. Guaranteed. There's nothing wrong with that. But having Ibaka, and now you might they might end up paying him now he has more leverage. They might end up paying him OD because you can't replace a Christian Wood, your replacement gone. Mo Harkless that could maybe do, he's 6'9", could do some of that, whatever the case is, he's gone. Barry, these guys are gone. The only bigs that are available, like Steven Adams was through trade, and you're not trading for him because you want to be able to be good for next year's free agency. So all these domino effects is affecting the Raptors. And it's because the Raptors made a mistake, like I said, by giving too much leverage to Ibaka. Vanvleet, leverage. You got it, bro. You got it. You're that guy. But Ibaka? Ibaka has been solid. Don't get it twisted. Ibaka has been elite. Don't get it twisted. Ibaka has been perfect in his role. Don't get it twisted. But Ibaka is hella old. He's getting older. You have someone who's identical to him. That is a younger version. Sorry, Ibaka, good riddance. Sorry, we'll come back to you if we don't get this guy. Now, I don't know if they tried and whatever. I promise you they probably didn't try. Christian Wood probably would still take the Rockets over the Raptors if he was given the same money, but you don't give him the same money. You try and give him more. Give him a 50 mil 3 year. Oh, bro, that's 9 extra mil though? Remember, though, with Houston, obviously, the tax break. So it might end up being where the 41 is still better than the 50. But you could figure a way out to where you're giving him more money and a better situation. In terms of you're in the East, you're going to be in that competitive, field where the Houston, you're in the West, you might get knocked out early. You don't know, this, that, and yes, you're playing with Harden and his bright lights, but don't you want to go further and, establish your resume in terms of playoffs and all this stuff even more? So that now when you're free agent in 3 more years at your prime 28, it's a bigger bag. It's a max. You know what I'm saying? You have to use IQ and move like that because no matter if you paid him 20 mil a year, it's still going to pan out better than you giving Ibaka 15, 15 for 1 year and this and that and whatever the case. And you wouldn't have to give him 20 mil a year. You give him 40, worse, you'll give him 15 mil a year. That's not going to affect too much a max guy because you could finesse it where now, because remember, the rest of your bench guys all make pinch money. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, remember, Lowry's off the books. That's a whole 30 mil. You know what I'm saying? So it's I don't know, man. Because they already remember Ibaka was making money, Marc Gasol was making money. You could have this. You have the same money you were using before. You can end up doing that, something similar to that, and having a solid team. You just want to open it up for the new guy coming in. And the thing is oh my God, next year if they sign Ibaka for 1 year and then they go get what's it called? A big man next year, then, it's the same thing. Yes, if you sign Ibaka for 1 year and then he's off the books next year, him and Larry off the books, your max deal that you're going to go for, You can't go for a max deal for 2 guys. The big man you want to go pursue is probably a max deal guy like a Rudy Gobert or whatever the case is, which he doesn't even fit with Pascal. But if you want to go for a big type of guy like that, you can only go for a big. And then the scorer you get is a lower tier guy. You can't go for a max score, which is like a superstar star guy, and go for a max type of big in the same free agency. It was not going to work. No matter if Ibaka's off the books and Lowry. It's too much money. But remember, Pascal has that bag and Vanvleet has a bag. You can't work. You can only get one more big type of bag. Which is why IQ would be signing a center at a lower rate. And then the big bag you want to give up will be the score, which is more important than the center. That's what you would want to do. Now you're in a situation where you're going to need both next free agency. And that's the situation I was trying to avoid by giving my smart moves. If you haven't watched the video, go check it out. The smart moves of what the Raptors should have done coming up to this free agency. Their priorities. A scorer is the number one priority. But you not getting it this year is okay if you fix the second priority, which is the big. Because you know that priority can be filled by a superstar in the free agency class. Not reverse. Or not nothing at all, where you only go for Vanvleet, and then now you have the same needs you had coming into this free agency, you still have going into next year. Because Ibaka, you're not signing a multi-year for Ibaka. If you do, that's dumb. You're going to sign Ibaka to a 1 year. And I don't know, remember, Ibaka, like when this video comes out, when you guys see this video, it might be that he already signed somewhere or he signed with the Raptors, so whatever. But understand the logic that I'm just bringing out, because obviously everything's happening so fast. So, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like I said, they're in a position where they needed to focus on Vanvleet and other bigs at the same time, which is what you see like Lakers are focusing on. They're focusing on needs first. Everything is, you see the Lakers, they trade Danny to get Schroeder. They know Rondo's leaving. You see the IQ, they talk to these guys ahead of time and know what someone wants. They don't know that he's fully leaving, but they know he's leaving because of their agenda. So what I mean by that is they know, they go to these guys, Rondo, what do you want? I want a bag and I want a bigger role. Okay, we hear you. So just off of that right there, they know we can't fill his needs. He's probably going to be leaving. Let's go and replace him. Stuff like that. You ask Ibaka from time, what's your role? What's your needs? What's your this? Your money, this is what you want? Okay, no, go get Christian Wood. That's how you move smartly. Instead of this loyalty, keep them, and then just working and finding a way to keep them, appease their needs while keeping them. Like, that shit is bullshit. That's your sussing. Just like the Lakers, perfectly played. Talk to Rondo. What does he want? Okay, say word. You know what? Make this trade, get Schroeder. He's replacing Rondo. Rondo already knows. Okay, clearly they're not meeting my needs, which is why he posts I'm out with the Lakers, even though he didn't sign with nowhere. He knows I'm not going back there because I gave them what I need and that's not budging. That team has to now decide whether we're going to meet that or we're going to go find a next player. And that's what a Raptors should have been. No matter what loyalty it is. Rondo just won a ring too. He was crucial. He was their third best player when it mattered. But what you want and what we want is two different things. It happens. That's business. And that's my only knock when it comes to Masai is the loyalty aspect type of thing. Loyalty, he doesn't care about loyalty too much in terms of if he has to do something is like the DeRozan. It's so blatant, I have to do it. But in situations where you could go either way, it's 50-50, he's going to probably go with the loyal first, and then when it doesn't work, go over there. And that's always going to suss you because a lot of the time, if it works, it's perfect. But a lot of the times, it's not going to work like that. A lot of the times, they want something, and then now they know they know they have leverage. They're going to milk you and take the long road. And then now, and then it doesn't work. What happens? All these other guys' replacements are off the board. And that's what the mistake the Raptors made. You know what I mean? Because, again, like I said, you never know. Like, I don't know where they're signing. I haven't got any news. Let me actually check the news quick before I finish this video real quick and check. You know what I mean? Obviously, what Woj says is law. You know what I'm saying? Let me just check real quick and see if anything happened. But at the end of the day, like I'm saying, most of the times, like in this situation, the Raptors just, not most of the times, this situation, they played it wrong. You know what I'm saying? They played it wrong. See, I don't see let me just check real quick. I don't see any moves right now. So, you know what I mean? Let me check one more source. Right now, I don't see any moves. So basically what I'm saying is basically facts. Maybe when you guys hear this and the video renders and all that type of stuff and comes out, maybe something happens. See, even like I said, there's DeMarcus Cousins. There's all kinds of guys right now. You know what I'm saying? Rajon Rondo probably is going to go somewhere. So nothing has happened so far. You know what I mean? Jeff Green even just went to the Nets, right? Obviously, you know, he's not replaceable in what happened, but even like I said, like Montrezl Harrell going to the Lakers, like stuff like that. That's now affected Dwight. They wanted to sign Dwight; they're close to a deal, but Montrezl now comes out, yo, I'm out, yo, you guys reeling? Now they're playing the game. They're keeping both at bay. Dwight Howard most likely you're probably gonna sign. Like they just giving him an offer because they're like, yo, we'll offer you $3 million. This is what you want. Okay, you good? Say less. Then Montrezl now all of a sudden is available. We go the Montrezl route. He's gonna replace your backup center role. He's a 6-man. Now Dwight knows, and okay, I'm going to Philly. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that, it just happens like that in business. You can't stick with only one guns. That's the problem. They're sticking with only one guns. Only one guns, which is their guys that they had. And they want to just, you know, keep going and keep pursuing and, you know, that's it. That's not how it works, man. And they're literally on the verge of being the Lakers without being the Lakers from last year. That's what they're on the verge of being. Without no superstars, and you're just now going to pick parts together. You might even give a bad deal or whatever the case is. But regardless, you know, the Vanvleet signing is a good signing for the future. He is a good point guard for the future. He's only going to get better. He's not hella old. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. He just only sometimes he's injury prone at certain moments. But regardless, he's been durable in terms of like playing when it matters and stuff like that. He hasn't been like, you know what I mean, missing the biggest games and stuff like that. He's been there. So with him with a more increased role, he's going to do even better. The main issue now is just Ibaka and Lowry next year. What are we doing? And that's what I don't trust. I don't trust the Raptors because I know this loyalty thing is going to have them giving maybe a bad deal and doing all X, Y, and Z. Like, bruh, Christian Wood was there, man. That's supposed to be guaranteed. Obviously, it's never guaranteed because you don't know what a player what he might want to do, but he's looking for the bag. He's not looking for, oh, I'm just in the limelight. He's looking for the bag. But the bag and the limelight happen to match with Houston. Like, that's even an unsure situation. He's just looking for the bag. They gave him the most bag. I promise you the Raptors didn't go for him like that. They probably just like, okay, what's he asking for? But they're like, okay, if Ibaka doesn't work, then he's probably still there. I promise you that's how they moved, man. They're just thinking, oh, he's probably still there. He's the backup. No, he's not supposed to be the backup. Ibaka's supposed to be the backup. Plan B. Come on, man. Anyways, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Let me know in the comments what y'all think with how the Raptors are moving, man. Because, like, again, I'm happy for Vanvleet. I'm happy in terms of the Raptors, you know, having their point guard of the future established. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, the point guard I see, that's in our eyes, is not the point guard I see in the future. He's going to have more stuff, more and more keys to the vehicle. He's going to have more things at hand. So it's going to be more production. He probably might be even do like a 20-8 type of player. That's what he might be doing. 21, 20-8. You know, he might be doing that. Obviously, his production will decrease if they now next year get like a Kawhi type of player back, a superstar in free agency and it works out. Then he might be an 18-8 type of player. You know what I mean? 17-7 type of player, which is still good for the money that he's getting. Like there's guys who get more money than that and don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good, it's not even like an OD bag. Like, it's not a bag where it's like he's overpaid. It's actually not hella overpaid. People saying it's overpaid don't know what the market is. Go look at what other guys are getting. Jeremy Grant got 60 mil for 3 years. 20 a year. This man is not getting, he's getting the same 21 a year. So Vanvleet can't get one more mil extra? He can't get one more mil extra? Vanvleet is not better than what Jeremy Grant has been? Obviously, Jeremy Grant's going to have a different role. He's probably going to do better. But still, you know what I mean? That just shows you what the market is worth. If anything, you getting him 4 years, 85 mil is actually still a steal in terms of the market, in terms of what's happened, in terms of the deal that's happened. Gordon Hayward averages 17. Just went and got 120. Okay? That's the fourth option. Understand what I'm talking about. Vanvleet actually deserves more if he went somewhere else. But again, it's hard for them to give him more because he's not in the limelight. It's like, is that Toronto stigma and him sharing ball handling duties and not making an all-star obviously affects the type of max he could get. But again, Raptors point guard of the future. And that's what I'm saying. VanVleet is not just signing for big money. He's also signing for a bigger role. So you got to understand the conversation that's happening with VanVleet. VanVleet is probably told that Lowry eventually is going to be under you and you're going to be the guy. Or Lowry's gone next year, whatever the case is. Like, he's being told something for him to get the bag and a bigger role. He's not just wanting the bag. He wants a bigger role. He's played a certain role. He's won a championship. Now it's about, I'm in my prime, get the bag and have a bigger role. And let's see how far individually I can go. It's not just about rings anymore. Obviously, yes, you want to win, but how I win now matters because I've won being a role player and a solid role player and actually one of the best role players during that time. Now it's not a role player thing no more. I'm that guy. Not like the main guy, but I'm like, let me be the point guard. Let me master my craft. That's where VanVleet is looking for. And he bet himself into that situation. So congrats to him. Congrats to his family. You know what I mean? This is a man basically like, low tier draft and all that type of like this. He's already overachieved, but he can still go further. I think he's an all-star caliber point guard. We've seen Lowry make point guard, make all-stars in the East. VanVleet definitely, if they're winning and they're in a situation, he's in this perfect situation and Raptors are winning and he's in the East, he can definitely be an all-star. You know what I'm saying? So, let's see how his individual career pans out. And that's where he's looking at it from individually. He's not looking at it from a team perspective. Everything's individual at this point, and he earned that. So you already know it's True Talks, because True Talks. This is my, breakdown so far on Raptors free agency. It might change, obviously, wherever Ibaka goes, whatever the Raptors decide to sign. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll see how that goes. I'll still talk about the draft picks within the Malachi, and you know what I mean? Like, I wanted Miles Powell, but I'm not too mad at Malachi because he does look like a VanVleet type of player. You know what I'm saying? Even with a better shot pocket, so he could probably even shot create even more because VanVleet is limited with shot creating in the mid range and stuff because his pocket is this low. So he can't really, step back. He can't, he has to turn back and then shoot. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he's limited and he's still eating. That's why he goes to the paint a lot. He doesn't even do floaters. The shot creating bag, he doesn't really have too much. He can do it, but it's harder to do it with length and in pressure situations when it'll be uncomfortable for him is what I'm saying, which is why he doesn't do it as much, which is why in the last second when he did that step back, it ended up being an air ball because he shoot from so low. He's not shooting straight. He's not shooting high release. You know what I'm saying? Not hella high, but just a normal release. He's doing a push shot. So that's going to affect certain moves that he could do. He can't, you know what I mean? And that's where take over. Now, when you want someone, your point guard, just take over here. Just take over. Get hot. It's harder for you to take over and when mans are hella pressure on you and, trying to lock up Marcus Smart on you. All these guys are on you with good defense, great defense. And they're locking you up. And if you can't do your main thing, which is, pick and roll run, drive, do his finesse layups or shoot the spot up three or shoot the dribble off the screen. Now he has time to shoot the three. If they cut those things off, can you shot create with tough defenses on you? That's a next caliber level of the Kyries, the other guys. Even Lowry was applying that you've seen because he has a normal type of shot, right? VanVleet doesn't. So little things like that, which is what it's too hard for him to switch his shot. But with him having more output, he'll definitely be getting more points, but he'll still never be that shot creating killer, game on the line. He will be like, if it's right in situations, like perfect example with the finals with Golden State, he's dribbling, quick hook goes under. Now you're open. Like those situations. Yes. But that has to be a star on your team so they don't focus on you on cutting all your positive situations off. Which is why VanVleet's going to thrive with another star beside him. But he doesn't thrive as much when he has to be the star and Pascal and, is sussing and he has to now go to work and be the main guy. His shot release and shot creating, he can't, he's only so much he could do in terms of that. So that's just me giving an IQ breakdown. You already know. Thank you for coming for that IQ because that's what I do. You already know. We out here. There's no doubt here and there's no drought here. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. If I'm tripping, if the Raptors are doing smart, if they're not, who they should sign, etc. You already know this free agency frenzy has been a frenzy already. You know what I'm saying? So you already know, man. It's True Talks because True Talks. Share, like, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. To tell a friend. We got more coming. We just waiting. I don't want to do videos and then it's outdated in like 2 seconds or once I post it. So I'm trying to get clarity with what these moves are happening. If you want me giving like in-depth or just context on the fly, you can follow my IG, follow my Twitter. I normally be doing posts as the minute as it happens, or the few minutes that it happens, and just giving IQ on if this is a good move, bad move, not, or whatever the case is. If the YouTube video is more so structured in terms of, okay, clarity, it's settled. Now we go ahead. I don't just go impromptu. It takes more work to do a video. So the impromptu, in the moment, real quick decisions and IQs and, context and, comments definitely will be on IG. So you already know, like I said, share, like, and subscribe. We out here. There's no doubt here. There's no drought here. You feel me? And I'm out, man.